So did you get a chance to review the conference board report?
I just saw the executive summary, but yeah.
And do you think it's been that dramatic a turnaround in 12 months?
Well, what the conference board is essentially predicting is flat economic growth for the city for 2016 as a whole. And what we've seen in the first half of the year is that it hasn't been as bad as we thought it would be. So although we've shed a number of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs in the energy sector, until August, Calgary was actually creating more jobs than it was destroying in other industries and in other sectors. So the conference board feels that trend will not continue, and we're ready for any eventuality. There's two important assumptions that are going into the conference board's work. One is that net migration will really slow down. And we haven't really seen any evidence of that yet, and we won't until we do the census in the spring. But, people are certainly still moving here, and folks in real estate and so on can tell you about that. Their second big assumption is that the decline in the oil and gas sector will start to have ripple effects in other sectors such as services and real estate. We're starting to see it, but we haven't seen a ton of it yet. So we'll have to see how the next 4 months play out for the city. The really interesting thing about this is that there are a number of people who have money on the sidelines who are making a number of very counter-cyclical moves. So for example, the conference board notes that downtown skyscraper construction is at a very hot pace. And it's precisely because the folks who build skyscrapers are trying to build while construction costs are low, in the hopes that when the building is done, they'll lease when lease rates are high. This is how they make their money. And those counter-cyclical plays actually are really a countervailing effect on the economic headwinds that we're facing. So if those counter-cyclical things continue to happen, including work the city itself can do, then that will help cushion the blow.
How important is construction, not just downtown, buildings going up, but you think of the ring road construction supposed to start next year, that sort of thing. How big of a factor do you think construction is to helping buck the downward trend?
It's a very big part of the economy. It makes a huge difference for what we do and our ability to be able to respond to economic downturns. One of the interesting things about this is that a big part of the construction industry is also single home starts. And in 2014, we had record home starts, I should say, in Calgary. No one is expecting a record year this year. So the question is, can those other construction projects take up the slack and help with the employment of the people who would otherwise be building homes?
We're done. Conference board. One other thing, and that is your thoughts on whether 16-year-old Albertans should be allowed to vote in municipal elections.
I don't know.
You must have some thoughts about whether that's a good or bad thing, what the difference it would make in terms of turnout.
I am always interested in anything that engages people to vote and engages people to be more involved in their community. And I remember when I was 16 years old in grade 12, I was the prime minister of the model parliament at my school, and I probably knew more about politics and more about the issues in politics then than I do now. And I know a lot of very bright high school students who really inform their parents on what they're doing and what the important issues are. So certainly something that I'm not opposed to out front. I'd like to see how it would work if anyone has done it anywhere, but if it helps engage and start people in the habit of civic engagement earlier in their life, that's probably not a bad thing.
Are you still happy with not having passed the administration recommendations yet on the fire department?
I'm actually I've gone through the zero-based review in some detail, and to me it's a very, very, very good balance. It's saving a lot of money, it's modernizing a lot of what we do in the department, in the fire department, but it's not going into things that I think Calgarians would find too risky. I would suggest that it's not the end of the conversation about response times. I really do believe we need a much more holistic way of evaluating whether we're doing a good job in the fire department, about how we're protecting people's property and people's safety. But those are conversations that we will continue to have. This isn't going anywhere, but I'm very happy to support the recommendations that are in there now to make those savings and those efficiencies now.
What about having the public thing? You could end up having many, many firefighters coming to the podium and saying, and opposing the administration recommendations.
I've had a number of conversations throughout this process with the firefighters union and with their leadership. My understanding, and I don't want to speak for them, but my understanding is that they did think the consultant's report went a bit too far, but that the administration report struck a good balance. So them being a union, they'll have to speak out a little bit, but I don't think there's anything in there that's causing the guys and the girls in the hall a bunch of heart attacks. Thank you.